Okay, so we're back. There's the Tach adapter right there, which I installed 3 screws. You got to mount it on the fender well where it keeps cool. Nothing can get to it to make it hot or any water to get to it. Okay, so now we go over here. This is the 42 pin junction box. As you can see, there's numbers labeled on it. And on this one, the very back side, back here, that red wire that I'm pointing to right there, that's pin 34. That's the wire we got to trace when we peel back all this and cut. Okay, that's the Tach signal wire that fires all 8 coils so you can get a good Tach signal. Okay, and so you got a solid red wire coming out of the Tach adapter. That's what when you cut this wire 34 in half, and then you splice the end that goes to the connector, you want to connect that red end to that red one, and that's going to give you that goes to all 8 coils. The other half you want to go to this red and green wire, and you would splice that into the other side. Then you take the ground wire and you want to ground it to the engine, the hood strap. That is a good ground right there. And then all is left is this gray wire. This wire hooks up to the green Tach wire on your tachometer. And then you want to bring the tachometer out here and test it. You hook it to a 12-volt source. My battery is in the back. I can just find a 12-volt source right there in my fuse box, and I can set the tachometer out here and ground it, and then I can start the car up to make sure it's running. Then when it's running, then all I got to do is just go inside and tack all that up. So that's the project that I'm tackling. It's going to take me a couple of days because I don't want to mess up the interior of my Cobra. There's a wide shot of it. You can see it's showroom ready, and you can tell it's supercharged. There's my battery pack in the back. I got that battery disconnected so I don't short anything out while I'm doing anything. And so since I'm supercharged, I have my boost gauge and then I have my fuel pressure gauge. So my initial thing was to mount my Tach right here at the lowest point, but I didn't want to drill any holes in my dashboard. Also, I thought about getting a hose clamp and tacking it to here with the hose clamp so I don't drill anything, but then my RPM gauge, my battery gauge, and my oil gauge, I won't be able to see that. So what I found, what I'm waiting on online, is a Tachometer bracket that requires no drilling. Okay, drilling through your holes. All you have to do is take these 2 bolts off from here, okay, and then you want to pull this panel loose, okay. Then you got to pull the radio out, pull the CD out. You want to pull the air conditioning vents out, and this heater thing comes out, and you're going to expose the inside of there. Now on the heater switch, there are 2 bolts there. That bracket is going to go into there, and it's going to go inside here, and you're going to take those bolts out, and they give you longer bolts that can screw into there, and then the bracket comes out right through here, and then your tachometer is going to mount right here, right in plain view sight. Nothing's going to be bolted down on here. So that is what we're up against, and that is the only spot that I feel comfortable putting a Tach. It's too big to go here, too big to mount here because the windshield is in the way, and I may want to get a triple pod instead of this double pod and add another gauge. I always want to add something to protect the engine. I don't know if I want to get another engine temp gauge just in case that one goes out, but that's working fine. The voltmeter is working fine, but it's always good to know the temperature of your engine. So I may get another temp gauge and run those out. Okay, so that's what we're up against. And my bracket, my Tach bracket doesn't come in until Tuesday, and so we'll get a good view of that on Tuesday. And this is what the Tach looks like. Big 5-inch Tach. And I can just take it out and bring it to the car again and put it inside the car and give you an idea of where it's going to mount and what it will look like when it's mounted. Okay, so my lowest point is going to be right here. Okay, this twist is so you can straighten it out, but for this video purpose, I'm just going to show you where it's going to come out at. It's going to come out at right here. That's perfect height. You can see it's not blocking the windshield or anything, and I can twist the Tach so it'll be upright like that. So it'll be mounted right about there, and the shift light slides. I can move the shift light anywhere I want, and I think the shift light I'm gonna keep on that angle right about there. So to be about right there, out of the way of the air condition, out of the way of the windows, out of the way of everything. And so that's how we're going to run things. We're going to run the wires, the lighting wires, to my boost and fuel gauge, and that hooks into the interior light, so I can turn it up or down. My dash lights are green. These lights are green, and this tachometer I can set up to be on green as well at night, and during the day they'll be white, but at night they'll be backlit green. And I can run the power wire, which is down there, on the same thing, on the same wire. So since I already have the wires ran, this is pretty much going to be a shut and close case. It shouldn't take too long, and I shouldn't run into many problems at all. So all you Mustang owners out there, whether it be a GT or a Cobra, 99 to 04, distributorless, when you run off the power control module, this is what you need to do. You need to get that Tach adapter so you can make sure you're firing on all 8 coils to get the proper Tach signal to it. And I'm not comfortable with going down over there, the passenger kick panel down there, pointing right there. That's the kick panel. You take that out, and there's the computer's ECM. You can pull that out of there, and you can hook into the Tach over there. But whenever you go into that PCM, you risk blowing that circuit. You would have to take the battery out, slide it out, but you can still damage it by putting it in. I'm not willing to go in and tear my computer up when I can come here to this 42 pin, grab this red wire and splice into it and run it that way and hide all these wires and get the correct signal from here, which would be very easy. So I explained how everything goes. I don't have that much data on here, or not data, but I don't have that much space on here to record the whole actual things that I'm doing. So when I get it hooked up, each section hooked up, I'll come back and explain it and show you how I hooked it up. And I'll show you when I test it, the meter on the outside, how it works. And then that way you guys that have these 99 to 04 GTs, Cobras, Mach 1s, you'll know how to hook your coil up. There's not many videos out there that show you, but you have good instructions that come with it. But it's nothing like someone showing you by step-by-step details on how to hook these things up so it can run right. My last project was right there. I got the Morso reservoir tank for my aftercooler, my intercooler, which cools my supercharger down. And so I got the Morso one, the chrome one. So that was the last update that I did on that. So with that being said, We'll talk at you when the work is done.